The GSL Kodes.
That's where we're at. That's terrible grammar, by the way. You should never end a sentence with a preposition. But that's where we are.
That's where we're at. I'm fine with it, Wolf. We have people from all over the world watching. Let's make their English much worse if it's their second language.
Yeah, then we can seem much smarter than them.
We just got done watching... That's pretty evil. We just got done watching Sulky against Flying, and I'm not sure that we'll ever look that much smarter than many people.
Well,
but
Flying in that last game did not look very smart, and especially towards that fight where we saw just a lack of control.
It's seriously like he just took his hands off the keyboard and mouse, and he was like, well, let's see how badly this can possibly go. This battle I should win. So that was kind of bad, but that's okay, because his teammate does get to advance.
Yeah. And this is now a situation where YoDa really needs to step it up, because the play we saw with his Hellbats in the first series he played was just, it was not enough.
No, it certainly was not. But is he going to stay on Hellbats? So we've seen some Terrans just lose because they'll only go Hellbats. Like, for instance, last, he lost because he's just like, well, I'm just going to do Hellbat drops no matter what.
Yeah.
And then Flash, he lost Invasion because he's like, well, I'm just going to do Hellbat drops no matter what. And
YoDa really needs to switch things up. You know, he can do one Hellbat game maybe on Game 3 or something like that, but he needs to show, if it even comes to a Game 3, of course, but he needs to show a different strategy. IMO. He cannot continue to use these Hellbat drops, especially not the super early risky ones that have like a huge potential for damage, but also a huge potential for falling behind.
Yeah, this is... Look, maybe that's something that works all the time on the ladder, but this is not the ladder.
Yeah, this is the most prestigious StarCraft tournament in the world.
This is a GSL champion right now that's going to focus like never before.
Map is DF Atlas for the first game between these two Titans. One player is dropping down here. Who's it going to be? Will it be YoDa? Will it be RorO? It's the GSL Kodes.
All right, up here in the top right, will he go Hellbat drops once again? He is.
LGIM YoDa.
Force not strong with him today.
No, certainly not. It's a great disturbance. This could be the disturbance. A former GSL champion. Will he go on to face Flying, or will he drop down to the Wolf's Den? He is.
Samsung RorO.
Yeah, very good point. Whoever loses this, I get to commentate.
You're actually kind of in a cool spot, because any player that like you like a lot, like any player that has like really nice play that you're like, well, I just really like to watch this guy. If they win in Kodes, you're like, oh, sick, he's getting further, this is really great. And then if he loses, it's like, oh, nice, I get to commentate him.
Yeah, very win-win.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I'm basically that guy with the trampoline, running back and forth, just catching the players who lose.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're like the fireman down at the bottom of the building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, they got to jump out, I'll catch them.
Yeah, you catch them in your big wolf sheet.
But if they fall out of the Challenger League, then I'll commentate their games maybe in the Kodes qualifiers if I can get them. Maybe.
In the most dangerous qualification tournament in the whole world.
That's a very, very terrible place to be.
It's just the worst place to be for these poor guys. Well, command center first, hatch first.
We had some really interesting results in our first round of the Challenger League. Players like Sniper, GSL champion.
Oh, I know, right? Oh, God, that was craziness. Against Trap, nonetheless. Trap, kind of like Flying. He's probably the Protoss that I find closest to Flying. Kind of a very aggressive, heavy amount of units. A little bit funny on his strategies, but yeah, that's definitely...
That's a really good point, and I feel like Trap and Flying kind of rose to their strengths in the early parts of their careers, and the late part of Wings of Liberty and early part of Heart of the Swarm kind of together. And they both do have really similar styles that's oftentimes aggressive and unorthodox.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the way it is, man. It was sad, though, to see Sniper go. Saw a lot of good Zergs actually go on that first round of Challenger League.
Yeah. By the way, in this particular case, we have YoDa doing the same build that he did with the Command Center first, where he goes into only one barracks and the one gas. So he'll have the Hellions out a little bit faster.
Yeah. And do you think he's going to go into the Hellion drop here?
I don't think so. Not after showing it several times to somebody who's just sitting on the side and watching.
I'm going to take the opposite of that. I feel like when we see a lot of Hellbat drops just game after game out of Terrans, that it actually kind of is the defining factor of that Terran at the moment. Because Hellbat drops are very good, right? Everyone's kind of feeling like this is is this too good? No one's really sure yet. But I feel like the Terrans that we see it, if you see it twice in a row, I feel like you almost are going to see it every game because they are. I guess you're right. It is kind of addicting. You're like, well, this can just win straight up, and it's not necessarily weak against anything.
Yeah. You know, we'll find out. It's definitely a high possibility. It's just, I guess if I were YoDa, after watching, or knowing that somebody has watched me do this several times, I would not want to do it. But the build-over could line up with what he's done here so far.
Yeah, he definitely is not showing us quite yet what this is going to be. A second gas going down, man. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that second gas is not to help with Hellion production or the next command center. So
yeah, or a Cloak Banshee follow-up. I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not a Cloaked Banshee follow-up. That would, I actually wouldn't mind seeing that because I haven't seen anything like that in a very long time. But
there's a reason why.
Yeah, there could be.
Well, I think you're right. We may just be seeing these Hellbats as a follow-up. The Overlord did not see the second gas, so he's not 100% certain. Well, actually, he saw that gas when it was in production, so he can assume. There's the starport.
Yeah, so you know what? This might not be the Hellbat drop because we don't have that armory going down.
Yeah, he may just do a regular Hellion drop.
Yeah, it could be. And, you know, that's still something that can work out quite well. No, never mind. There's the armory.
That's a weird timing for that. But
yeah.
This time,
do you think
he will
just made a mistake?
I think it's possible he may go for 2 dropships with 4 instead of just 1.
You're very smart. Because I'm like, is he going to make a Viking? No, that's going to give it away. Yes, you are correct, Wolf. I think he's going to go for the double. And I think the double is better than what he was showing us before. Because the double, when you drop it, you're killing drones. Like, there's the amount of damage that they all shoot out suddenly. You are killing drones. You're killing more than the 7 that he got last time.
Yeah, you definitely are. Even if there's spine crawlers there, you're going to kill some. He's also got these Hellions ready to pressure at the front and keep the Zerg player a little bit occupied. He wants to scout the third, too.
Yeah, and he will see that third. And that's actually going to make him happy to see a third, because if you're going for heavy drop play, they're spreading themselves out a little bit more. It's going to give him more opportunities, more locations to do damage.
He's going for Widow Mines, interestingly enough, though, right now, so he's going to delay his Hellbats with this.
You know, I have seen occasionally some Widow Mine drops against Zerg. They can be pretty neat, but I would... Well, I mean...
I think he just started his Widow Mines a little bit late, and he wanted to let them finish, but this is actually going to really slow down his Hellbat follow-up.
Yeah, and in fact, Hellbat follow-up is going to be so slow that he may think that it's not coming. Well, no, I think he's going to think it because you see the medevac anyways, right? So, kind of weird, though. Yeah,
this is a little bit strange what YoDa is doing here. This Hellion drop is going to do virtually nothing because it's already been scouted. And, you know, if you had Hellbats dropping down here, the Zerglings would run in and then they'd have to run away. But with Hellions, they can actually just surround this and be fine.
And, of course, those Hellions aren't going to be healed at all. Does lose 1. Not a lot of damage done yet.
Yeah, cannot afford to lose Hellions like that either. He has to boost out right away. He's not going to try to kite against the Zerglings or do anything fancy.
Well, you know what? We do have the layer halfway done. I want to see if we're going to get a Roach Warren, or is RorO going to go for that Spire?
Well, here comes that Hellbat drop, and he's not actually pulling his drones right away, so he could lose a lot here. Oh, he pulls them in the wrong direction, too.
Looks like he may have been in disbelief for a moment. Now, a lot of damage being dealt to that medevac, so he's definitely put a clock on how long that can be aggressive.
Yeah, he may even repair it a little bit back at home and then send it again, since it's taken so many hits. And in these positions, it works out. But he only killed 4 Harvesters here in total.
Not a bad choice, by the way, to go home and get that repaired. In fact, it looks like he wants to do a small frontal push right now with this. And you know what? Since the Baneling Nest isn't done yet, there's no Roach Warren, I can't say that this is a bad idea.
Yeah, he's got the Hellbats to tank and also do some really great cone damage to those Zerglings, but he also has the Widow Mines.
Yeah, he's going to put a dunce cap on those Zerglings with his cone damage.
Absolutely so. Here we go. The Widow Mine goes up right at the front, gets into a great spot here. If he can eliminate the Zerglings before it triggers...
Oh, a beautiful shot there for the Zerg player, in fact.
He needs to make sure he can pull those Hellbats back. The medevac is not targeting them, so he loses so much here.
That was...
If the medevac targets the Hellbat, that's a very different story, but it's targeting the Marines, so...
Yeah. I gotta say, man, YoDa, nothing he's doing is really working out at all. I kind of like the ideas that he's working with here, but the execution not necessarily there. You know, to allow that Widow Mine to actually hit his stuff, it's better to unburrow it than to let that Widow Mine go off.
Yeah. That was a bit poor control there. This Hellbat drop has been seen for so long by so many different things, the creep tumors and the overlords, that it has to go away.
Yeah, it's as if an Oracle has tagged that thing. It's so seen.
That's basically true. A little desperate scan here as well. Picks off only 2 tumors. That's questionable.
Well, I guess he's got to hide his medevac coming back in, but he's going to fly into Overlord range with it anyways.
This is why players make Vikings. Obviously, this is a very different scenario because he wants to get Hellbats out as soon as possible. He can't afford Viking build time, but I mean, he's just so seen here.
Yeah, that's pretty seen, and with 4 queens waiting for him, that medevac has to be very, very careful indeed. In fact, he's still trying to go for it. And this is really reminding me of what we've seen already with these Hellbat users. He is do or die on these Hellbats.
And you know what? He actually gets a drop-off here, though, barely, and that's going to kill a lot of Zerglings. He gets a few drones as well.
Yeah. Whoa. He could have actually gotten 2 shots off there.
Not paying attention.
Yeah. Well, you know, that looked like everything was going to die, and that's why RorO sent it back and why YoDa stopped looking at it, so I'll give that to him.
You know, he's got a pretty decent supply lead here,
yeah.
And his upgrades are even with the Zerg, so this next push is going to be much scarier than the last one because Baneling speed is so late here.
That's right, and with Widow Mines, that's going to help out a lot against those Banelings if he can target it down correctly.
Oh my god, that Widow Mine!
Oh, okay, not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah, that could have been a lot better for YoDa.
Yeah, stimming and spreading as best as he can. We're going to need an Overseer in this area pretty quickly for RorO to be able to deal with these Widow Mines correctly. He has to be very careful. But 2-2 and Baneling speed going to finish pretty soon.
And he needs to burrow that Widow Mine.
It's like, oh, doesn't quite get it.
That was very close. He almost got it down to 18 hit points. YoDa is really trying to make this aggression work, and it's almost as if RorO is ready at every turn, but he's got this momentum that allows him to control the Watchtower right now, pick off these Zerglings, and keep the Widow Mines out and around. You know,
I really like the position of both players here, to be honest. I think they've both played well enough that they're in good spots, but YoDa's getting into that kind of scary area where he's getting his second factory, his 2-2's going to finish in line with the 2-2 of Zerg, and his constant rally aggression southward is going to kind of protect his third base.
Widow Mines can also snowball a little bit, and RorO has not been able to eliminate most of those Widow Mines. So even though the Widow Mines haven't done that much damage yet, the count of them is getting much higher and higher, and that becomes very, very scary. Gets a few drones here and boosts out. That was very nicely done. He should even be able to escape from the mutas. Well, not if he goes in that direction.
Looks like the Lings and Baneling's going to come up and make sure that's not the case.
No. He's going to try to intercept here.
Oh, I like that move. That was sexy.
Oh, wow. Great hits there.
Yeah. Really well done there by YoDa. I really like that idea because he almost caught him completely off guard and killed a lot.
Yeah, he could have caught all the mutas there. That could have been devastating. Great stim here. He knows his units are too low on hit points, though, to actually follow through.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous. But, you know, his supply is getting higher and higher. They're both sitting around 180, and he's going to have those drilling claws pretty soon, adding another command center as well. You know, I don't see any way for really RorO to do any critical damage right now, which means the next attack is going to be extremely hard to stop.
Yeah, I love what he did with that Widow Mine, by the way, trying to bait. It didn't work, but if he had actually gotten that off, that could have been critical damage on that Ling count. One good Widow Mine hit on the Lings can just stop a push because you need those Lings to surround. You need them to kind of tank a little bit, and if they all go down, then you can't just send pure Muta Baneling in there.
Yeah. And, you know, one good hit on the Banelings, man, is actually sometimes a game winner in this matchup. So he has to be very, very careful about this. That drilling clause is almost done, and 3 Widow Mines being produced at a time.
He's got these two armies are totally passing each other here. He's got a massive force coming in here. There's not much to defend. 2 Widow Mines, a third burrow is not used on it.
Whoa, and the actual unburrow going down right there, getting rid of that Widow Mine immediately. A lot of damage is being dealt at the moment.
YoDa's a great reaction time, pulling out of the bunker, and now he's raised the depots. He can actually trap this army. The problem is he's losing some SCVs in the process.
Yeah, and the trap is here. It looks like all the Zerglings and Banelings will be taken out. A few SCVs being taken out over here as well.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would use the Banelings a little bit better on those SCVs, but he really did not connect where he wanted to.
Yeah. And now he's down by 30 supplies, so that was definitely a good situation for YoDa. He dealt with that extremely well, extremely efficiently, and quickly.
Yeah. YoDa has a massive lead in army supply right now, and by massive I mean 40 supply exactly, and he's going to push across the map and try to do something with this. His Widow Mine count is not where it could be because he lost so much in his defense, but that was, you know, he needed those Widow Mines to defend. So this push is kind of lacking some AoE. It's all about these Widow Mines and what they connect with.
Yeah. And let's not forget that he's going to have that +3 attack right around the time that this battle is going on. So that's going to help out quite a bit. And in fact, RorO's starting to come back now. He's going to want to try to hit some sort of flank. But those Widow Mines protecting pretty well right now.
The Marines with a great amount of upgrades. 3 finishes, and he gets us around though.
Wow. RorO.
Excellent engagement there. He's going to try to catch these medevacs. They are out of their speed boost now.
And RorO doing a great job taking out quite a few of the medevacs after killing quite a big chunk of the army as well. And does turn around just in time.
Yeah, you know, he did the maximum amount that he could there. He's just trying to buy time for the Broodlord. So if he catches a few medevacs and defends that push well, he's going to be happy with that. He can rest easy. He's going to kill these Widow Mines up at the front as well. Ooh, not wanting to use those Banelings, but
that's okay. You know, the Broodlords are going to be so important because he is going to have 3/3 for all the Broodlings. But more importantly, Widow Mines hate Broodlords more than Siege Shanks did.
Yes. And, you know, even more than Immortals do.
Yes, it's actually crazy. So these Broodlords are going to help out so much, but does he even need them rolling up here and dealing some more damage?
Yeah, he's just trying to make something work here. Everything he can do, even if he doesn't get great hits on the SCVs, he's buying more and more time away from that very heavy army supply of YoDa. He's going to lose a few meters here, though. Oh, this is a big stem by YoDa. He's got a lot of Widow Mines to support.
Well, you know, as the Broodlords come in, they can definitely set off those Widow Mines, but he's losing this base for sure, which is going to bring him down to 3 bases against the 4 of YoDa. YoDa doing a very good job here.
Yep. And all the trigger on the Widow Mines starting to come off here with those Broodlords. Dropping the main base here will be cleaned up. He just needs to manage his Overseers very, very carefully so he can use those Broodlords, because otherwise, you know, you fly over the Widow Mines accidentally and that could be terrible.
Yeah.
We've seen that before.
Well, a lot of Widow Mines being taken out there, as well as a decent amount of Marine supply. And there's a huge tech switch here into 3/3 Ultras. So that's definitely going to help out quite a bit, especially if the Broodlord's still alive to set off any mines. He's going to have to just utilize his Marines and Marauders to actually take these Ultras out.
Yeah, the Widow Mines are exactly what you want against the Ultras because they ignore armor with their attacks. This is going to be, you know, very annoying to deal with, and he will scout now, those Ultralists.
Yep, and he's going to be a little bit scared. Look at that. We even have some fungal growths going down. Of course, Infestor's still amazing with those Ultras, keeping everything right there so the Ultras can get up and deal their massive splash damage. So, you know, even though he lost that base, man, his unit composition, I have to say, is better by far than YoDa's.
Yeah, this is a really even game. YoDa has the extra base. He has a great army, but he has to kind of switch up his composition a little bit right now. And the Widow Mine count is still decent for him.
And he has a good amount of Hellbats. He's adding quite a few as well, and those are going to be able to tank quite well. They're bigger overall, so less splash is going to be able to be dealt around them from the Ultras. So we'll see how he can actually do with that.
No, he does not have an Overseer with this.
Yeah, that's actually an issue. Those Widow Mines actually staying away from the Broodlings so far.
The Muta's going to come in here. They're going to eat a shot, maybe. Oh, gets away just in time.
Wow. And in fact, Widow Mines hitting some Broodlords here, but the Queen's going to go ahead and heal them up.
A big drop down at the south, though, meanwhile, during all of this. He's buying a lot of time, even as SCV's repairing over here on the right side.
Oh, and the Widow Mines being taken out. And this is going to allow for his Ultras to run in here. A lot of Marauders, but they're taking huge damage.
Yeah, huge damage. He runs them forward a bit too prematurely. And both players dropping in supply like crazy. It looks like RorO is just barely going to be able to engage through this with the Queens and the Broodlords. It's just enough DPS. He engaged into a choke point with Ultras, but since he had that support from those range units, the Queens and the Broodlords, he was able to push through just barely, and now he's got the momentum here.
He certainly does. Taking out that base, very important indeed. If he can get this orbital, that's a big deal. Doesn't look like he will, but he's continuing to push forward into an area with these Broodlords that's going to be hard for him to come out of.
Exactly. He has to be very careful engaging into a choke point with his Ultras, but he's trying to bait those Marines out with the Broodlings.
Vikings trying to fly around right now and hit the Broodlords as much as possible.
This is such a technical engagement we're seeing from both players. The Vikings trying to snipe the Broodlords, but the Queens target them down, and the Ultras running into a choke point once again.
He's got to be careful about that, but in fact, he has very little tanking left here. It's really down to just Broodlings and Ultras.
These Marines so low on hit points, he has to go back into the choke. He does. once he can eliminate the wall, you know, those tech labs on the factories or the factories themselves, he's forced to lift here. You can actually run in a lot more comfortably now.
You know, it is just a lot of Lings and Ultras still on the way for RorO. He's going to rally up here. This is becoming a do or die push.
Yeah.
If he loses this group of units, then YoDa's going to be able to come back. But I don't know that YoDa is going to be able to kill this group of units at all.
Stim goes down. He even pulls some SCVs here. He really wants to crush this group. He knows it's his objective. He's able to take out the Ultras at the front, but the Broodlord's still going strong.
And the Lings coming in as well. Those Broodlords still all alive somehow, some way.
He was never able to kill the Broods, and that's the biggest problem here. The Lings are going to finish this off.
Those Queens absolutely clutch. GG.
That was a pretty good Terran Berserker that we saw there.
That was very well done, I have to say. Well played by both sides. Really amazing Broodlord retention. Like, I can't believe he kept 4 alive that long. It was insane.
I really am loving, just no matter when I watch RorO play, his choices of when to engage and how to engage, and how careful he is with his micro, how careful he is against Widow Mines. And you can see the LGIM coach's hand in there, just lending a hand to the shoulder of YoDa, who's got to be very frustrated. Now 0-3 in the group, 1 game away from being totally knocked out and going down to the Challenger League.
Oh boy, and that is a pit that is very hard to climb out of. Right now in Korea, there are so many top-level StarCraft 2 pros. There are more top-level StarCraft 2 pros than there ever were in StarCraft 1. It's actually madness right now over here. So if he falls out, he knows that it may be a while before he's back.
Yeah. You know, it's like climbing up out of a tube that's got spikes sticking out of it pointed downwards. That's just how it is.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Oh my god.
It's like the Sarlacc pit, man. Was YoDa in the Sarlacc pit in Star Wars? No, but he wants to avoid it in StarCraft 2 here. Belshir Vestige, an interesting map choice for him.
Okay, I like it. I like that choice, actually. You know, the third base that you can take and just rally towards your opponent's third, slash where their fourth probably should be. I like it. We've seen a lot of really strong play on this map from Terrans against Zerg. Definitely going to be better than that last map.
The third is easy to funnel units into, kind of like what we saw at the Natural at the last moment there with the Ultralisk. So could be going for a faster third command center, maybe something less aggressive for this map.
Yeah. Do you think, Wolf, will we see Hellbats or not?
You know, I said no last game. I would say it again, but it's YoDa we're talking about here. It's 3 for 3, so I'm going to have to say yes. We'll find out. He's 1 game away from that Challenger League. He wants to tie things up against his opponent, RorO, here at the Premier League. Code S, the GSL.